meuman. Oh, never give up. Number 97. Once there was a very wealthy man. He had a shop attached to his home, filled with various kinds of merchandise. Thieves came and robbed him of his possessions, and he lost a large part of what he had. But he collected what remained and was able to put himself back on his feet. He purchased more stock, and once again became a shopkeeper. Thieves came again and robbed him of what was left of his previous wealth. But once again he gathered together the little he had left from his stock. The little he had left from his stock and from his wife's jewelry, and succeeded in getting back on his feet. He set up his store to provide himself and his household with a livelihood. Again thieves came and robbed him, and he became so impoverished that his house was completely empty. He went out and collected a miserable sum, bought a few bits and pieces, and went around the villages like the poor peddlers who travel about with bundles of goods, needles, pipes, and similar small items. He went from village to village, trading needles for chickens and eggs from the Gentiles, and this was how he earned his family's bread. One day he was on his way home from the villages, carrying his little bit of stock and a few items of food, when he was attacked by a bandit. The bandit was riding a horse and traveling with two enormous bundles. He wanted to rob him. The man started weeping and pleading with the bandit, but the bandit paid no attention and robbed him of the little he had. The man was left without anything at all, and he wept and wept, feeling very bitter inside, as if his previous troubles had not been enough. When he had been stripped of his great wealth, now even the meager livelihood he had left had been torn from him. Meanwhile, he noticed that the bandit had fallen from his horse. He was trying to get up, but the horse was standing at his side, trampling his head with its hooves. The bandit fell back and died. The man went over to look and saw that the bandit had fallen to the ground, dead. He opened the bandit's bundles, and there he found all the merchandise, wealth, and possessions that had been stolen from him from beginning to end. He returned to his house, in peace, and became rich again as before. He returned to his house in peace, and became rich again as before. Reb Nosson writes, I myself did not hear the story directly from the rebbe, but from others who heard it from him. Its full implications, as intended by the rebbe, are certainly beyond my understanding, but this much I feel I do understand. The story offers tremendous encouragement to every single person. It does not matter what may happen to a person in his lifetime. They may rob and plunder him, even the little he has left, with which he tries to revive himself. They may stalk and strip from him, even the little he has left, with which he tries to revive himself. They may stalk and strip from him. It may happen again and again, countless times. Even so, he should never despair of God's mercy and kindness. He should just raise his eyes to heaven. He should just raise his eyes to heaven each time and weep and cry out to God. He should just raise his eyes to heaven each time and weep and cry and weep and cry and weep and cry out to God, pleading with him to look upon his wretchedness, and toil, pleading with them to look upon his wretchedness and toil. Then at the very end, the robber will suffer a fall he never gets up from, while his victim will get back all the holiness, all the devotions, and all the good, all the holiness, all the devotions, and all the good that were stolen from him. He will return to his wealth and eternal goodness, faith. The Nachman stories, parable 19. There was once a poor man who earned a living. Trust. Trust. There was once a poor man who earned a living by digging clay ayeih and selling it. No, sorry, faith. Faith. Wrong story. Faith. No, it's not faith. There was once a poor man who earned a living by digging clay and selling it. Once while digging, he discovered a diamond that was obviously worth a great deal. He took it to an expert to ascertain its value. The expert said, "No one here will be able to afford such a jewel. Go to London, the capital, and there you will be able to sell it." The man was so poor, he could not afford to make the journey. He sold everything he had and went from door to door, collecting funds for the trip. Finally, he had enough to take him as far as the sea. He then wanted to board a ship, but he did not have any money. He approached the captain of one of the ships and showed him his diamond. The captain immediately welcomed him aboard the ship with great honor, assuming that he was a very wealthy and trustworthy person. He gave the poor man a first-class cabin, treated him like a wealthy personage. The poor man's cabin had a view of the sea. Every day he sat by his porthole, looking at his diamond and rejoicing. He was especially particular to admire his diamond during meal times, since eating in good spirits is highly beneficial for digestion. One day he sat down to eat with the diamond lying in front of him on the table, where he could see it and enjoy it. Sitting there, he dozed off. Meanwhile, the mess boy came and cleared off the table, shaking the tablecloth with its crumbs and the diamonds into the sea. When the poor man awoke and realized what had happened, he almost went mad with grief. He knew the captain was a ruthless man who would not hesitate to kill him for his fare. Having no other choice, he continued to act happy as if nothing had happened. The captain would usually speak to him for a few hours every day, and on this day he put himself in good spirits so that the captain was not aware that anything was wrong. The captain said to him, "I want to buy a large quantity of wheat that I will be able to sell in London for a huge profit. I want to buy a large quantity of wheat that I will be able to sell in London for a huge profit, but I am afraid that I will be accused of stealing from the king's treasury. Therefore I will arrange for the wheat to be bought in your name. I will pay you well for your trouble." The poor man agreed. As soon as they arrived in London, the captain died. The entire shiphold of wheat was in the poor man's name, and it was worth many times more than the diamond. Rebbe Nachman concluded the diamond did not belong to the poor man, and the proof is that he did not keep it. The wheat, however, did belong to him. And the proof is that he kept it. But he got what he deserved only because he remained happy. But he got what he deserved only because he remained happy. But he got what he deserved only because he remained happy. Nanach, nachman, nachman, meuman. 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 V'oiroi kushalile, ereselachu, tamidi ayuka le'agnechu. Neizim yoyim avodusachu. Lechu mal mafayir uvetli, and bezH ved kimin. Chsavi mas bavodusachu. Nanach, nachman, nachman, meuman. Nanach, nachman, nachman, meuman. Mafayvetli bezH ved kimin. Chsavi mas bavodusachu. Nanach, nachman, nachman, meuman. Nanach, nachman, nachman, meuman. Nanach, nachman, nachman, meuman. bezH galalechasoyin. Yemli b'nish kavakam. Tzam sanke. Chiz gavoy. Tzam sanke. Chiz gavoy v'tevinayim. Tzam zayin v'tam v'zyoy v'she'encho v'sanet. Nanach, nachman, nachman, meuman. Nanach, nachman, meuman. Hey, mit aliyah tzesem v'tovim. Mit g'dol l'chana tzesem v'dol ha'us shav k'us. Nanach, nachman, nachman, meuman. Mit g'dol ha'us m'siften m'sfurev. Nanach, nachman, nachman, meuman. Mit g'dol ha'us m'sfurev. Nanach, nachman, nachman, meuman. 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 Nanach, nachman, meuman. meuman. Oh, ich go jetzt out,